So this is episode 1 of the Photographer's Toolkit. And first of all, we're starting off with mindset. Now, mindset is such an important key when we do our photography, we plan our shoot, we go out and we try to create a body of work, to create a style that we're focused on, that we're passionate about, and also to kind of draw inspiration from other artists and other photographers and explore new ideas. So it's important to have the right mindset. Now, what do we mean by the right mindset? So I have to really break it down. So the key thing with mindset is your perception. So our perception is what we are currently seeing, and what we are currently seeing shapes how we think, how we approach our technique, how we approach our actual skill set when we're using the camera. So it could be as simple as pressing a button, having the confidence to press the button, right? And changing one of the dials on your camera. Being able to switch between manual focus and autofocus, really, really basic things, right? But it can also be a challenge with our mindset, because if we are not in the right state of mind, we might not even get to that point where we do click the shutter because our anxiety kicks in. And this is where perception is so key to just start off with. So our perception is defined in 2 ways: self-limiting belief and exploring new possibilities. So what do we mean by self-limiting belief? Well, self-limiting belief is shaped by our ability to think and see in a way that is our own opinion, is our own beliefs, and that may be built up from the environment we've grown up in. At home, you're only used to what your parents and your brothers and sisters are saying, right? Or the way that they've respected and treated you. So that's kind of ties into self-limiting belief. It also stems from our friendships with other people, our relationships with ourselves, and those kind of conversations that kind of they limit how much wider and how much further we can go in our journey of growth and our journey of growing our mindset. So that's where new possibilities comes in, because having those new paths, you go for a walk and there's so many different ways that you can go, and you always choose to go down one road, right? You'll only ever see the same beauty, let's say. But if you go to that same park and you decide, today I'm going to walk down a different path, and you have a completely different perception of that same walk that you've just taken yourself on, because now you've just gone down a completely new journey and there's new things to see. And that's what kind of perception's all about. It's about being able to take what we currently know, what we currently believe in, and then to kind of redefine that and go and find new channels and new avenues where we can go, okay, this is new, or maybe this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. So that's what we really mean by perception. So you've got to create the space for growth. So this can be like the room that I'm in right now. So our environment is really important for us to be able to let our creativity flourish, and to also give us the independence to be able to take our creativity, to take our ideas, to take our gear, to take our inspiration, and then to go and create something that is meaningful to us, that we actually enjoy, that we're actually passionate about. And our environment is not always just, you know, I'm in a house right now, I'm in an office, I could be in my bedroom, I could be outside, I could be at university, I could be in the car, I could be on a bus. And one of the most important things of all, I could be on my phone. And I'm locked into this environment that I'm around. My mind is focused on this place where ideas are flowing. Now, obviously on the phone, there's lots of distractions and stuff, right? But, in here, is there really any distractions? Like, not really. It's just kind of four walls and me talking to you right now, right? So we're not actually doing anything yet, but we're putting ourselves in the right environments. Maybe it's around other creative people. Maybe you just want to go outside and be, one with nature, and that's what kind of gets your creative spark pumping. So those are the things that I really want you to think about, to kind of, you got these building blocks now. Okay, so what's next? What's next in building our photographer's mindset? So once we have our environment, it's important for us to set goals now. So setting goals is a great purposeful way starting out, because you can give yourself a little mission. You're going to go and take, X number of photos, and in X number of photos, you have to have taken a picture of a sign. Has to be a sign in that picture, or there has to be a building in the picture, right? So you've given yourself a goal now to focus on a particular thing, and it separates our expectation of perfection to our we're actually going through a process of actually trying to create something, and we might not really be thinking about whether it's the right aperture or the right shutter speed, or whether it's the perfect photo. We're just giving ourselves this goal to take, let's say 10 photos of different types of buildings, right? And having those little goals when you are getting into street photography is really good, because there's lots of different things that you can take pictures of, and to be able to just kind of go out there and be like, right, today I'm going to focus on this. And that is really helpful, especially with building your technique, with helping you to focus on individual settings, that's going to improve your photography, but also just to kind of give yourself an intention for every day that you go out and do photography. So I think that's a really big one. It's a really important one. Okay, so now you've got the right perception, you've got the right environment, and you've set some goals. So what's next? So let's follow on from our little example. So I'm going to take 10 photos, 10 different buildings, right? Expectation. So expectation is probably, for a lot of you, it's going to be your biggest kind of setback, because having an expectation that I'm going to take 10 great photos is, maybe you do, right? But for most of you, it's going to be unrealistic. I want you to have this mindset that you're going to fail. Now, you're going to take 10 really bad photos. Now, the reason for saying this is because what we often see as negative is failure. But if we remove the negativity away from it and we replace it with learning, so failure equals learning. So every time we feel like we're taking a bad photo, we have to remember that on the other side, we are just learning the craft, and we're learning what we don't like, and we're also learning how this thing works with a million buttons on it, with a million settings on it. We're actually learning, okay, I'm not going to do that one again. And the great thing about having the expectation to fail is that for every good photo that we take, we can then go, okay, we've now we've gone from learning to growth. So we've taken it into a positive. It's not perfection, it's growth. So our positivity equals our growth. So if you expect that you're not going to get anything out of today other than to take X number of photos with, you know, signs or pictures of buildings, you're not having that expectation that, you know, them black and white photos have really high contrast and like specific like textures and details in them. You know, you weren't expecting to catch the sun on the tops of the buildings, because we can't have expectations, because expectations often weigh us down. And when we kind of embrace the moments where we're kind of learning, and then we have those little spikes of growth, we kind of just set ourselves free from the expectations, and we let the creative spark that we had from the beginning with our right environment and, you know, our goal setting, we let those little moments come out where we have those moments of growth, and it makes us happy because we didn't expect them. But over time, what you'll see is you'll go from not expecting anything. To be honest, I don't even expect anything when I go outside. Like, I just know that I'm at this point now where I'm going on a journey. I'm going out there. I'm just going to enjoy myself, because you never know what to expect. You never know, like, you know, the people you're going to meet. You never know, like, I know, I'm a big car fan, but you know, I might see like a Ferrari or a nice Porsche. You just never know. Or I might see like a bright coloured car, and it just so happens that while I was lining my composition up, that, you know, when I clicked the shutter, there was like a bright green Nissan GTR. I don't know what, you can never have expectations that something was going to happen, and I think those are the kind of key components to having the right mindset to take pictures. So I actually wrote this thing down. I'm gonna have to read it from my notebook because I will not remember it, but I wrote that environment shapes your potential for growth. Goal setting keeps your mind at ease while planning and creating. And learning through failure allows you to accept the highs and the lows. And I think that's one of the key things that I've learned over the last 2 years of doing consistent street photography and other types of photography as well. You have to just kind of accept that you might take like 8 really bad photos and 2 great ones, but it's those 2 great ones that keep you motivated to go out and, you know, get 3 good photos and 7 bad ones. And before you know it, you've got like 5 really good ones and 5 really bad ones. Or like, they might not even be that bad. They might just be like, ooh, like, I do like the 5 ones that are not so good, but you've given yourself the trial and error and the room for growth. And that's what I kind of want you to take forward. Take all of these different components together, and every time you feel like you fail, go back to the very start, go back to your environment, go back to, you know, go back to your belief, your perception, and start from there and be like, okay, what do I need to do right now? What do I need to, when I feel like I've got to a particular level, say you got to the pro level of street photography or just photography in general, what can you now do to make you learn more? What can you now do so that you can excel and take yourself to the next level? Because we're never, you know, being a pro is good on everything, but you know, you could be an amazing pro. You could be a pro, you could be an amazing pro. You'll never be a perfect pro. No one will ever be perfect, right? Remember that. And it's one of my biggest setbacks. It's one of my biggest setbacks. You know, someone who's been doing photography a very long time, it's still one of my biggest setbacks, I have to say. Like, I'm still always chasing perfection, and you know, I think it's the kind of like, there's that self-limiting belief that, you know, we're human after all. We can never really fully get away from it. So yeah, this series is going to be, every episode is going to have a different component that you can take and you can put it in your camera bag, and next time you go out, you can take it out of that camera bag and you can put it into practice. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.